Hello there, survivors. Welcome back to another video on ARK Survival Ascended. Today, we got another video on the desert ruins that I'm rebuilding here on Scorched Earth, over on the edge of the desert, right where the entrance of one of the caves is, which is also our main base. And I've done a bunch of rebuilding more ruins to grow this base into something really cool. And the fun fact actually is that all of the things that I'm building above ground is mostly just cosmetic, because our actual main base is underground in the cave, which is actually really convenient because the weather has no effect, and it's also a really cool place. So let's take a look around. All right, there we go. We have just arrived at the desert ruins, and as you can see, a whole lot has changed since the first video I made on this. It has definitely grown quite a bit since then. We're almost done, or I'm almost done rebuilding this first part of the ruins, and then of course we have all that to go, and also building a train station so we can link it up with my train network. But yeah, it's definitely growing and it's starting to look quite nice. I'm quite happy with the way it's turning out so far. Actually, it's a really cool place to build and just to live at. My only little gripe with this is that most of these buildings are actually quite small, so you end up with a lot of these spots where it's just very small buildings, which is fine to some extent, because I mean, these buildings are a nice way to add in some simple quick little details, but it's most of the ruins that are so small, so it's actually quite difficult to get some interesting buildings together. But still, I think we made it work, and especially here, the work on the front, creating some kind of gate to the town, has turned out really nice in my opinion. So let's get off folks, let's park her right here, and let's take a little tour of the town so far. And of course, we can only start right here at the front. So this is the current front view of the ruins, and I really enjoy what that looks like. There's one more little ruin that we're gonna have to rebuild right there, and one over here as well. But other than that, this front view is pretty much done. So you've got the first layer of stairs to get up here. You got a small little stable with the most beautiful thorny dragon just chilling out here right at the front gate. So yeah, I decided to add in this little gate just because it was kind of like a perfect fit here, and it makes this look like a proper little entrance. And this is kind of like the gatehouse or guard post, defending or just securing the entrance to the main street of the town. So we got like a little watchtower there, got another one over there as well. Actually need to add the same little roof design to that window as well, now that I think of it. But yeah, it looks really nice. And the fun part about this build is there's these alleyways everywhere. You've got these fun little ways to get up and to buildings. Now they don't really have any interior anywhere, because we're most likely not really going to use them as buildings themselves. So I'm not going to add interiors everywhere, because that would just add a bunch of unnecessary items and maybe even lag. Maybe not necessary for me, because my PC is quite strong, but to think about my tribe mates as well. But yeah, as you can see, there's a bunch of these little walkways to connect everything together. You got these rooms here, like little simple ones. Another building over here. And I really love all these little walkways connecting everything. Got another room here. This one does have the little roof going on. You can go all the way around it as well to another little courtyard. We got the stables there. We'll take a closer look to that in a little bit. But yeah, I love all these little walkways and passageways. Really feels like the place is an actual city that is lived in, that has its own little narrow streets and everything. So yeah, this is the main entrance. Very cool. We got a bunch of these buildings with these little courtyards that add a nice little touch to the buildings as well. So this is part of the guard post right here. So you got the little courtyard with some shade. Got a little alleyway, a stair to go, or a ladder to go up, and then the little overhang right here, and even another little stable right to the side. I really like adding these in because they add a little bit of different shapes to the otherwise quite square buildings, and they add shade for animals, which seems like a very logical thing to have here in the desert. We got my cart standing here in Main Street as well to bring the streets to life even more. And yeah, of course, you can't have a proper street without some decorative wyverns. No, just kidding. This is my newly bred wyvern that my tribe made. She made a very cool looking color. Really love this. With the white belly as well. And apparently also some pretty good stats. So this is going to be my new mounts. Say hello to Smaug. Of course, had to go for that name for one of the wyverns. So that's going to be it. And then this one, of course, is the part that we did in the last video as well. The bigger building, what I at that point thought was going to be on main base, but it didn't end up being it. A little windmill here as well. Some small building here. And then we got these stables here where I'm breeding up some horses. So we got a couple of horses here in the stables looking really nice and cozy. I love when you think of like a function that you really need for a building, because then you can design the whole thing around that, and that really turned out very nicely over here. Got some more small buildings here, and then the tiny ones down there again that we just saw. And I think I'm gonna be adding a couple more of these things to bring some extra life to the town as well, because it just feels like the town is being used if you have some of those. Especially here in the desert, it makes sense to have a couple of those water places. But yeah, this part here at the front has quickly become somewhat of my favorite, because I really like the way that we added those new structures, and these little details are just really cool. And I didn't really plan on making like a gate here at all, but it just kind of happened. And if you want to see my process for how I build these ruins, or how I get these structures connected up and bring everything together, I actually did most of this on one of my latest streams, so you can still watch that back on the channel as well and get a better understanding of how I do this. Because for most of these buildings, since it is rebuilding an existing structure, it's actually kind of difficult to make it into a tutorial, because it really depends on the exact placement of the first foundation, because everything kind of snaps to that. So if you are interested in rebuilding your own ruins, I would definitely recommend checking out that stream, so you can get a little bit of a better look at my process, my thoughts during building these ruins, and just seeing how everything slowly comes together. Now, just for completion, of course, we do have some cool rooms here as well. This little alleyway is one of my favorites as well. Leads to a little storage room in here. And I actually need some more ideas for our main base, because we've got this structure. Now, I might at some point attempt to do some building on top of this. The only problem with that is that it doesn't quite line up with foundation, so it's quite hard to make it into a proper building like that, unfortunately. But of course, we also have the entire inside of this structure that I still need to decorate more, because it's quite empty. So if you've got any cool suggestions or ideas of things that I should definitely be adding in here, they are more than welcome, because I don't really know what to do with this. Besides our very helpful board that my tribe mate made, she made all of these. These are the perfect descriptions for the sounds that these little jaboas make. And of course, he's not going to make a noise now, because he's now under pressure. But this is translations for what they mean, and they can't be more clear than this. So that's going to be really helpful. If you can decipher that, you're... Ooh, look at these. We've got some air conditioning right here. But yeah, this is our main base down here in the cave, and it's so cool. Such a cool atmosphere. It's a little bit of like a teaser almost for what we can do in Aberration. And besides that, there's a lot less cool light features here, but it's just very convenient because we've got a lot of space. Tribemate is spending a lot of time breeding up wyverns, making them with good stats. We're also breeding up some thylas for the caverns. Oh my god, this is actually a really cool color combination. That looks quite cool. But yeah, it's just really convenient, and this is so that we can transport back to the island if we need to grab anything there. But yeah, this is coming together quite nicely. This is just a very functional base, very practical, which is the best for survival, of course. And then I can just do my thing up there, making it all look good. So yeah, that pretty much sums up what we've got going on here in these desert ruins so far. I definitely am enjoying myself, and I think I've built some pretty nice ruins. It's kind of difficult compared to what I did on the island. These are definitely a lot smaller, which sometimes makes it a little bit harder to make something cool or practical out of it. But especially here on the front, I think we more than managed to do something very interesting. So I've got a couple more buildings that I need to rebuild over here, mostly smaller ones, so nothing too exciting, I think. One of these, I actually want to make sure that I've got like a stable for my vessel sutures. But of course, I also have this entire part of town as well, with some more structures. Also mostly smaller ruins with some room for maybe some bigger builds. Maybe this one could be a little bit bigger. Maybe that can have the vessel sutures stables, or we'll see what we can do over here. But there's definitely some fun to be had still here. And then this is going to be the train station, so that we can take the train to all the other different bases that I end up building. But yeah, this place definitely coming together. I'm really enjoying this process. Hopefully you're enjoying it as well. Let me know if you like it, and if you've got any suggestions or ideas of what I should add in any of the future ruins that I still have to rebuild, please let me know down in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any other videos. And of course, if you want to show even more support, you can always consider becoming a member as well. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.